The penis is the male sex organ, reaching its full size during puberty. In addition to its sexual function, the penis acts as a conduit for urine to leave the body. The penis is made of several parts: the glans, corpus cavernosum, and corpus spongiosum. The corpus cavernosum are two columns of tissue running along the side of the penis. Blood fills this tissue to cause an erection. Corpus spongiosum, a column of sponge-like tissue running along the front of the penis and ending at glans penis. It fills with blood during erection, keeping the urethra, which runs through, open. The urethra runs through the corpus spongiosum, conducting urine out of the body. And we get the glands. The glands, most tissue called mucosa covering the glands, is the foreskin, the prepuce. In circumcised men, the foreskin is surgically removed and the mucosa of the glands transformed into dry skin. An erection results from changes in blood flow in the penis. When a man becomes sexually aroused, nerves cause penis blood vessels to expand. More blood flows in, the less flows out of the penis, hardening the tissue and the corpus cavernosum. A man's reproductive system is specifically designed to produce, store, and transport sperm. Unlike the female genitalia, the male reproductive organs are both the interior and the exterior of the pelvic cavity. They include the testicles, the duct system, or the epidermis, and the vas deferens, the accessory gland, seminal vesicles, and prostate gland, and the penis. Where is the sperm produced? The sperm production occurs in the testicles. Upon reaching puberty, a man will produce millions of sperm cells every day, each measuring about 0.002 inches. The sperm are produced in the testicles and develop to maturity while traveling from the seminiferous tubules through the epidermis into the vas deferens.
The hypothalamus and pituitary gland control how much testosterone the testes produce and secrete. The hypothalamus sends a signal to the pituitary gland to release FSH, follicle-stimulating hormone, and LH, luteinizing hormone. These will regulate the production of testosterone in the testes, and these two hormones travel through the bloodstream until they reach the testes.
The gonads, better known as ovaries, are located one on each side of the upper pelvis, whose functions are to produce oocytes or eggs in a process called oogenesis, and the female sex hormones, estrogen and progesterone, that control the uterine cycle, or fallopian tube. This one transports the matured egg in the ovary into the uterus, where it can be fertilized by the sperm. Part of the female genital tract is the uterus, whose main function is to house and nourish the fetus until it's ready for birth. On the other part, we have the external female genitals, collectively known as vulva, which includes the labia majora. They produce lubricating secretions and protect the other external genital organs, covered by pubic hair. The labia minora. They lie just inside the labia majora and surround the openings to the vagina and urethra. During the sexual stimulation, the labia minora become more sensitive to stimulation. The glans clitoris, which contains erectile tissue that becomes filled with blood during the sexual stimulation. This can result in an orgasm. The last organs are the openings of the urethra and the vagina. The vagina may be partially closed by a tissue called the hymen, which is ruptured by sexual intercourse or other physical means.
An oocyte is produced in the ovary during female gametogenesis. The female germ cells produce a primordial germ cell, which then undergoes mitosis, forming oogonia. During oogenesis, the oogonia become primary oocytes. Where does implantation occur? From there, the fertilized egg travels down the fallopian tube. If it successfully implants in the uterus, an embryo can begin to grow. During the IVF, in vitro fertilization procedure, the beginning of this process is mimicked outside of the body in a lab. Eggs are retrieved from the mother or donor, sperm is collected from the father or donor, and they are artificially fertilized before being transferred into the mother or gestational surrogate. When does fertilization usually occur? The steps of fertilization in humans always involve the joining of an egg and sperm. In natural conception, the male sperm fertilizes the female egg inside the woman's body. While many think fertilization occurs in the ovary, it actually takes place in the fallopian tube just outside the ovary.
The feminine cycle corresponds to all women processes that happen in the ovaries and the uterus during the preparation of reproduction. The ovaries is a gland that produces and leaves blood, cause and effect. Any gland of the body functions alone, but in the body exists a control center that is in the brain, in this case, in the lowest part constituted by the hypothalamus and the hypophysis. The hypothalamus commands the hypophysis by a hormone named GHRH, and this way it can be produced in the hormones FS and LH. The FS hormone stimulates the follicles in the ovary, but just one will end the cycle. While it's growing, this follicle frees estrogen. The estrogen is a sexual feminine hormone who acts thickening the walls of the endometrium. The endometrium also is the one in charge of the secondary sexual characters. In the other side, the hormone LH generates an effect of the follicle stimulating the ovulation. When it's finished, the follicle is transformed in the lute's body, which produces the progesterone for 14 days. The progesterone is the one that maintains the endometrium thick to facilitate the pregnancy, but if there is no pregnancy, the lute's body generates, provoking the fall of the endometrium during the menstruation. It's denominated fertile period when happens the ovulation and the 5 days before it. This is because the sperms can be active until 5 days inside the woman, and here the ovum should be fecundated a few hours after the ovulation to generate the healthy zygote. The ovarian cycle governs the preparation of endocrine tissues and release of eggs, while the menstrual cycle governs the preparation and maintenance of the uterine lining. These cycles occur currently and are coordinated over 22 to 32-day cycle with the average length of 28 days. The ovarian cycle is divided into 3 parts: the follicular phase, ovulation, and the luteal phase. The follicular phase is FSH, released by the anterior pituitary gland, stimulates the development of a follicle in one of the ovaries. As the follicle matures, oogenesis is initiated and continues, and the epithelial cells of the follicle multiply and secrete the female sex hormones, mainly estrogen. As estrogen levels rise, negative feedback stops the secretion of SH, so that the follicular phase comes to an end. Then, the estrogen spike causes the secretion of GnRH from the hypothalamus, which in turn causes a surge of LH from the anterior pituitary gland, resulting in ovulation on about day 14 of a 28-day cycle. The ovulation is the release of the secondary oxide from the follicle and into the oviduct. After ovulation, the luteal phase begins. During the luteal phase, LH promotes the development of the corpus luteum, which consists of the follicle cells left behind after ovulation. The corpus luteum secretes female sex hormones, mainly progesterone.
Now let's talk about birth control. There's 5 types of birth control. The first one, hormonal methods. Hormonal methods work by mimicking the natural hormones of the woman's body, estrogen and progesterone, or just progesterone. They prevent pregnancy as follows: ovulation does not occur, the lining of the uterus thins, the cervical mucus thickens. Some examples can be the pill, the patch, the ring, and the implant. Next, barrier methods. Among the many ways of preventing pregnancy are the products known as barrier contraceptives: cervical caps, female condoms, male condoms, diaphragms, and vaginal spermicides. Barrier works by preventing the sperm from reaching the egg. Sterilization. Although not a product, also prevents sperm from reaching the egg. The procedures for sterilization are called vasectomy for men and towel ligation for women. Intrauterine device. The IUD is a tiny device that's put into your uterus to prevent pregnancy. It's a long-term, reversible, and one of the most effective birth control methods out there. Natural methods. There are four main methods that we term natural: abstinence, fertility awareness method (FAM), lactational amenorrhea method (LAM), and withdrawal. These methods all require the cooperation of the sexual partner and, generally speaking, a good awareness of the body and its natural rhythms and cycles. Emergency contraception. This shouldn't be used as a routine method of birth control. Levonorgestrel can prevent pregnancy after unprotected sex. People sometimes call it the morning after pill, but you don't have to wait until the morning after sex to take it. In fact, levonorgestrel is more effective the sooner you take it. It is one dose regimen. You take just one pill. The pill contains 1.5 milligrams of levonorgestrel, which is used in lower doses in many birth control pills.